Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
So I would say outwardly, it's very surprising. Just because the competition and where they've won the games and just how efficient they've been on offense. As someone that watched a lot of football camp practice, you saw a team that you felt like was going to be better.
I thought he really did a nice job. Yeah, that's a tough situation to come into, especially here in Arrowhead when it's as lively as it was.
Josh will take another shotgun snap, makes the handoff, going to throw it, looks downfield, fires downfield, looking for Diggs inside the 5, dives for it, makes the catch, and it is caught. Touchdown, Buffalo!
Great leadership, starting at the very top with ownership, with the general manager being aligned with the head coach disseminating that consistency one day at a time.
They love Russ. They say he's been great. He wins a ton of games, doesn't turn the ball over, but they felt like he doesn't get rid of the ball very fast, and if you let him throw the ball 40 times a game, you're going to get in trouble. I still think, he's a guy you pay, which they rightfully paid, and there are only so many of these guys. There are really only 12, 13 guys that are considered true franchise quarterbacks. He's one.
It's 2nd down and 8. This time, he's back again. He's looking. He is going deep for Quez Watkins, who has it, goes in for the touchdown. The strike to Quez Watkins. He hit him in stride for 53 yards.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Say goodnight to the Brewers. The Mets win, and they are in the playoffs for the first time in 6 years.
Swing and a miss. Diaz goes down, and that is the ball game. For the 5th time in the last 6 years, the Astros are the best in the AL West.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Talk of the town from the Mail Money Management Studios today. We're on video everywhere. Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson in as well. Mike Hesher with another day to get back from Colorado. May he travel safely.
Has anybody checked on him? It's a straight shot.
I figured he can keep it between the 4 lanes on coming back. So anyway, welcome to the Tuesday show. On the program today, Cole Reif's been doing everything today. He's been going, that. So Cole Reif's going to be in studio. And we're going to be talking about Hoisington Cardinal football. K-Prep's polls out. Thought I'd get his thoughts on the Chiefs so far this year. Just pick his brain a little bit as he comes in on Tuesday. Also, you get to talk today to the world-famous Cajun chef, Lyles Lashley.
Have you ever had his food?
No.
See, I don't eat much in public, so you could always smell it at the track meets. But
yeah.
I think it was last year. It was freezing cold out. I'm like, you know what? I'm starving. Changed my life. Now whenever they're promoting Lyles Lashley's cooking.
So what did he have, the jambalaya or the...
Yeah, he used to make something with shrimp when he was in Ellenwood, but now it's the jambalaya.
I think he brought some into Sports Day one day, so that's a little bit spicy.
Oh, it's Cajun. But now whenever I hear he's cooking, I will drop whatever I'm doing to go pay whoever I need to that day.
Well, it makes sense if you're going to have that food that's that hot. That's why you, from the bayou, you just, your mouth is on fire. So that's, Lyles today is going to be talking.
The kids ran at Bueller.
Cross country, yeah.
Going to Rimrock this weekend.
Lyles Lashley's best story ever on Sports Day was talking about when he went down to Grand Isle. And it was a trip down there, and he said this lady was cooking up this jambalaya in a big stew. Said she looked like a witch. And they went over and got some of that. So that's...
Of course he did.
Looked like a witch down there on the Grand Isle. Also on the show today, Len Dawson's funeral was Friday, and they had it was an hour and 30 minutes long, and there were different tributes. Bobby Bell, he's a Hall of Famer, linebacker for the Chiefs. And Kevin Harlan, he's my favorite announcer of all time, him and Bob Davis. He gave a eulogy that was really, really good. So we're going to bring that to you here in the third segment of the show today. But we also always promise sounds the past 24 hours or so. You ready to get going? Here we go. Kansas Jayhawks 3-0. That was Brandon McAnderson. He is the sideline reporter for the Jayhawk Sports Network. Did anyone see it coming? Did you predict? I think you were giving KU more credit than anyone else in the preseason. I don't think you came out and said they were going to go 3-0.
3-0 is a tough call. You see that score the first week, and I don't care what cupcake you're playing. That's a lot of points. K-State didn't do it. A little more surprising once we started seeing some Big 12 teams, and then Houston was ranked. I don't know if they're any good, but
2 wins on the road. I think KU went like 8 years without getting a road win. Now they've gone back-to-back weeks, and now they're at home to take on Duke Saturday.
And surely they're favorites for that. I mean, it's not basketball. Kentucky's undefeated too.
They're 3-0. Let's see, they could go 4-0. Then you could start talking about bowl season.
Well, they're halfway there.
Yeah, bowl season. You can get in now like at 5-7, can't you?
Are we going to sponsor a game this year?
I don't know. What's it going to be called? Sports Day Bowl?
We need one more word in there just to spice it up. Cajun Bowl? Sports Day Cajun Bowl.
Well, it'd be the Barton Community College Cougar Athletic Department Sports Day Bowl.
Yeah, let's make it as long. Maybe we can come up with an acronym.
Right, we take care of our sponsors that we have on there, our major sponsors here on the show. Anyway, Brandon McAnderson saying he could see the improvement, but you know, that's just in practice and what they've done. He says coaching staff has done a great job. I forgot Jalen Daniels was 17 years old when he got to KU. Now he's like 20, but he's got a lot of experience under his belt. 17 years old, you start your college career. He's now turned 20, but
putting up some numbers to get on some watch lists.
He was a National Player of the Week this week.
Yeah. My only concern: why do they need to get down 14-0 before we do anything? So you cut that out, and my goodness.
But then the offense can't be stopped. So KU takes on Duke on Saturday. That's an 11 a.m. kickoff. I don't know how they play 11 o'clock games.
They show up at 11 and they kick off and they tackle a bunch.
I know how they do it, but how do you, especially those 11 o'clock kick, 10:30 on Hits 106.9. You can see that game on FS1. K-State, they play at Oklahoma. That's the premier game Saturday night on Fox. Oklahoma, Kansas State. And that'd just be the way it goes. K-State will probably go down there and win.
They have done that in the past. Disappoint you one week and come back and disappoint somebody else's week.
K-State and Oklahoma coming up. Okay, Andy Reid talking about their free agent kicker, Matt Amendola, said, yeah, he did a good job coming in there, got a couple field goals, hit the ball in the end zone 4 out of 6 times. But the big question was Harrison Butker going to be back for Saturday's game or Sunday's game at Indianapolis? He said, well, it's just kind of wait and see right now.
Well, let Amendola kick the field goals, but let Reid kick the ball into the end zone.
Exactly, if he can do it every time. The big news yesterday, Willie Gay suspended for 4 games by the NFL. This is kind of interesting. You know, you don't know all the details maybe, but okay, he was arrested in January in Overland Park, charged with misdemeanor criminal property damage less than $1,000. Now, you've worked up in the legal department before. Okay, his representative is said at the time that Gay broke a vacuum that belonged to the mother of his son during an argument in which no one was harmed. Was this like a Kirby? Was this like a very well, it says less than $1,000.
That's a big window, isn't it?
He agreed to a diversion program in June and gets suspended for 4 games.
Seems a little heavy-handed.
I thought so. I mean, what was Watson's suspension? 8 games?
Well, after an appeal. Yeah, and you get somebody doing God knows what versus, I mean, you shouldn't be breaking things. Up to $1,000 is a big window. What's a vacuum? You can get one on Black Friday for $60. So,
but if it's a Kirby, it's probably going to be about $1,350.
You got to have somebody to fix those. So I can see where the league's cracking down, saying, I mean, it was probably a personal matter that he went over there upset,
but 4 games, doesn't that set the bar pretty high for what?
Given what they have done to person crimes in this year alone, a vacuum cleaner doesn't seem that bad.
No. They'll miss him.
You know,
he runs well. Covers a lot of ground.
You know who was happy when he broke that vacuum cleaner?
Who was
the
that?
Cats.
It's our dog at our house. The Chihuahua disappears for like 3 hours when that thing comes out.
Always an event.
The call on WGR 550 in Buffalo. Josh Allen connects Stephon Diggs. There was a point in that game last night. Diggs had 12 catches, and the rest of the Tennessee Titans combined had 10. 41-7 beatdown. I would say that Buffalo has clearly stamped themselves as the best team in the NFL. They beat the Rams in Week 1, 31-10.
I told you after Week 1, why are we even going to play the rest of these games? So I was looking for cracks last night.
Yeah,
something to talk about. They miss a 4th down conversion, go for another 4th down, get the penalty, let the other guy score right off the bat. So it was competitive for Tennessee, competitive for a little bit. And then Josh Allen missed a couple easy passes. You're like, so he's not infallible, but later he turned it on.
Wow, 41-7 they won last night, and then
and he didn't even play the 4th quarter.
Louis Riddick is he's always been on the Chiefs bandwagon before, but he's kind of crawled off that one. He's got on the Buffalo bandwagon, saying everything clicking right now in Buffalo, from the front office all the way down to the GM, the owner, the coach.
All of a sudden, they've got the best uniforms in kind of professional sports. Great fan base. Once it turns cold, that's one of your great cold weather football stadiums. They're breaking tables. They're putting ketchup on things.
Yeah, they're burning tables out there in the parking lot. I just don't see tailgating when it's like 4 degrees outside. The Green Bay people are the same. And then you see the Dumbo with the shirt off, right?
Oh, of course, it was hot out, I'm sure. But, yeah, there were several of them shirtless last night.
Well, yeah, we'll see what's going on with the hardy souls that we see in December and early January.
But it's a little bit of a dying breed with more and more domes popping up, retractable roofs. So you got your Kansas City, your Green Bay, your Buffalo. Kind of a dying breed in pro sports is uncomfortableness.
Jeremy Fowler, ESPN's senior NFL reporter, saying he's not ready to give up on Russell Wilson.
And why should he?
He's top 10 quarterback, but at the back end is what he said.
It's a new coach. It's a new team. Let him make some adjustments. They should be 2-0.
You know, another quarterback had a pretty good night last night was Jalen Hurts. Woo!
I wonder if anybody
watched
watched
Watkins, 53-yard TD pass from Jalen Hurts. Eagles beat the Vikings by the score of 24-7.
A little bit of a surprise there. Philly's been down a bit. Jalen Hurts is coming along. Stud athlete. Just been waiting for him to turn it on and get a chance.
And a couple teams clinched the playoff spot. The Mets clinched a playoff spot last night. Adam Ottavino striking out Hunter Renfroe for the final out. Mets beat the Brewers 7-2. Brewers aren't even going to go to the playoffs. So the Mets are in, but they still lead Atlanta by only one game in the National League East. Houston Astros clinched their 5th American League West title in 6 years.
Anybody remember what happened to the Mets last time in the playoffs?
6 years ago?
Yeah.
Let's see. That must have been a World Series, huh?
They said 6 years, so I'm thinking they made it one more year after the 15. But, yeah, and the Astros used to be literally the bottom dweller of professional sports. He wouldn't put any money into that team. And then Sports Illustrated a couple of years out picks them to start winning, and lo and behold, they've been a powerhouse since.
They were one of the first franchises that just gutted everybody and just went for prospects.
You could argue,
and they threw the season, right?
You could argue Kansas City did that before, always bringing up talent, trading them off, and it really worked out for both teams. I mean, Kansas City eventually got there. I remember the wild card game. I was working out of town, and I saw the score, and I was furious, turned it off, and then later I saw that Kansas City had made that comeback.
You turned it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that wasn't the wild card game.
Yeah, but Astros. By the way, they got a 15-game lead in the American League West. So there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours.
What's going to happen when they take away those trash cans in the playoff?
They didn't cheat. They were just beating.
Don't take off his shirt. He's got a new tattoo.
A listening device. People forget all about it.
They sure did.
Yeah, they sure did. They have the best record in baseball right now. 97-51. Think they'll win 100?
So they surpassed the Dodgers.
Oh, they stormed past the Dodgers and the Yankees. And
well, the next big thing is this home run race. I keep hearing that he's going to set the official American League record, and I'm like, I think I watched when. Of course, never mind. McGuire wasn't with Oakland at the time.
Yeah, he was in. It's the National League cheaters that were doing it. You know, the American League guys, of course, they were playing it, by the book. Okay. Top 32 rankings are out.
Somebody special is in there.
You think? Okay, give me the top 5. I'm gonna be impressed here.
You got Georgia.
No, this is the NFL top 32.
Oh man. Probably Buffalo, Kansas City.
Yep, you got the first 2.
Is Philly up there?
They're 8. Oof. Your boy.
Baltimore? Indianapolis?
No, Indianapolis right now is ranked 25th.
How about Miami?
5th.
Nice.
Nice one. Buccaneers are 3.
All right.
The Rams are 4.
I thought with the loss they would have taken a hit.
Now, the Chiefs, 28th in the league in pressures. This is Adam Teicher saying what they need to do better. Let's see, 28th in the league in pressures, according to NFL Next Gen Stats. They're 7th in pressures when blitzing. Other than Chris Jones, who has 2 sacks, the Chiefs aren't getting the job done with their front 4. They need the help of sending an extra defender. Chiefs 17th in the league in blitz percentage, 24%. Broncos are 13. Their biggest early adjustment they need to do is run the ball in the red zone. And don't have 10 penalties a game.
Well, hold the ball in the red zone? I mean, they're 2-0 if they hold the ball twice.
Well, that is true. Yeah, don't fumble in the red zone. The Bengals 15. Cowboys are 21.
Good.
The Raiders 23.
At 0-2.
At 0-2. Huh. Indianapolis Colts 25.
So who was 32?
Atlanta Falcons.
And those great uniforms, red and black.
Doesn't carry over.
Cheap beer and Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely. All right, Cole Reif is here. Looks a little bit frazzled. We'll try to settle him down before his segment comes up. And later on, we'll have Lyles Lashley talking Great Bend Panther cross country here on Sports Day.
What's better than getting a new iPhone? Also getting an Apple Watch on us with 1 month free service. You heard that right. At Next Tech Wireless, you can get an Apple Watch on us with a month of free cellular service when you buy a new iPhone. Come visit us at a location near you or call or text at 877-621-2600 for more information. Next Tech Wireless. We are Kansas.
One of the great advantages about online classes is you can take them anywhere. I would sit in my room, still in my robe from waking up, and I just try to focus on my classes. From Barton, I kind of took a range of classes from accounting, history, and I took PE1 and PE2 through Barton. They transferred pretty incredible. It helped save money, and it helped save some time, too. Just to think that you can live really anywhere and take these classes, I think it's pretty cool.
The University of Kansas Health System in Great Bend welcomes Dr. Anna Dagg and Dr. Thomas Dagg to the family medicine team at St. Rose Medical Pavilion. Both doctors begin seeing patients for general care September 12th, but you can schedule your appointment now. Dr. Anna Dagg also provides obstetrics and gynecology care, and Dr. Thomas Dagg also treats sports medicine patients. Schedule your appointment today by calling 620-792-2511.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back.
totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. Because don't just cut down, but stop smoking. In addition, lose all the weight, 100% guaranteed with Mark Patrick Seminars. Let hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings and lose the weight. That's right. Seminar Sunday, September 25th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Great Bend. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Info at markpatrickseminars.com.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Cole Reif is in with us today.
What's happening?
You doing all right, man?
Yeah.
You're just running back and forth and
just juggling schedules.
Yeah, there you go.
Such is life.
Yeah, there it is. So you and Corson were down there because you guys just chat all the time. I mean, you go down there, there's nothing going on, but you're not doing anything.
Right.
Except, yeah. So you had KU at 3-0, right?
Yeah, I think that's where we put it at. I mean, I had KU, North Carolina 3-0, Syracuse 3-0, Duke 3-0, Kentucky 3-0, UCLA 3-0. Pretty much, Indiana 3-0. It's amazing how many Blue Bloods are 3-0 right now. This is a huge matchup. And I heard you guys dogging that KU's going to go in there, go into Durham and Wallace Wade Stadium and go get a victory this weekend.
They're playing at home.
No, you're not getting a win.
Didn't KU playing at home?
You're not getting a win.
Even at home?
No. Duke's 3-0 this year. Have you not heard?
Dude, they're 3-0?
Yeah, 3-0. This isn't your...
They're not playing at Duke, though.
This isn't your grandfather's Duke team, all right?
They've got to come into Memorial Stadium.
I'm just saying. Are you guys chalking up a win already?
I did not say anything like that.
I heard you guys, they could be 4-0. You're going to be talking about... I listened to the show before I came up here. You can talk about
so how's Duke going to do this? They'll probably just go out and play. I know it's 3-0. It's the Cinderella's going to turn into the girl with the washboard
Duke
dress.
is going to use KU's aggressive style and gambling approach against them. This is a fundamentally sound Duke team that is going to make you pay for some of those turnovers. They might not score a whole lot of points, but they're gonna keep you off the board.
What is Duke's fight song?
No idea.
I'll sing it if Duke wins.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Okay, what are you gonna do?
Whatever you want. Like a KU jersey.
Yeah.
We have like a Dean Baird KU jersey in here or a Tim Freeze jersey.
Okay. I'll sing the Duke fight song if Duke wins.
Okay.
I don't think there's words with Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
You just want me to wave the wheat?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
All right. That's good. Chiefs, first 2 games. You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, I was cursing the Chiefs majority of the game watching the Chargers contest last Thursday. Like, it was pretty much like, this team is dog. They don't deserve anything. And then you looked at the scoreboard, and they were only down, 3 at halftime, down 7 at the max. And it was just like that first half, Chargers dominated. Absolutely crushed Kansas City's spirits, I thought, in the first half, and they were only up by 3 points. And it was just like, wait a second. Herbert's supposed to be one of those guys. He's supposed to be one of those dudes. Chargers are supposed to be one of those teams. And here's Kansas City. They're at home. Thursday night football game, but hanging in there. And then obviously finding ways to get ahead in that second half and needed some luck with, a huge 99-yard interception return to separate. But to get a win like that in week 2 of the season against a quality team, like the Chargers are probably my envision of the AFC West. I don't know where Denver's going to sort out. I don't know where the Raiders are going to sort out, but I imagine Kansas City and the Chargers to have 2 really good records. In fact, whoever is second place in the AFC West is probably going to have a better record than some of the other divisional champions.
You think?
I
Okay.
think so. I think so. So to get a win like that against the Chargers, I think says a lot. Got to play them again, obviously, at their place. But, at the end of the day, at that second half, I was like, man, we grinded out a way to get a win. We grinded out a win, but they found a way to get a win. So I was really pleased with that. It was a quality win.
It's such a long season, though, and that they get Indianapolis. Better go in there and take care of that. This is the year that you don't want to let one get away that you should have won, like Denver did in week 1 at Seattle, right? Because that's one that you've got to win, because at the end of the year, there are going to be so many you got Cincinnati, you got Buffalo, you've got Denver. All these games are just – I think it's going to be a season of every week it's going to come down to like the last 4 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC, I think, is clearly the best division right now. So when you're bulking up in the regular season, being an AFC team, playing more AFC teams, especially the schedule that they have, and even the NFC teams, you talk about, Tampa Bay looming. Those are some, just huge games. And Buffalo, on that schedule as well. So, yeah, I mean, they're huge. But Kansas City is going to be right there in it. Can they get over that hump again? I don't know, but I think they're going to be in the driver's seat for sure.
Okay, Chiefs in Indianapolis coming up. K-Preps poll, any big moves this week?
Nothing huge. Class 2A, you saw Norton stay up there, get up to number 4 after Rossville lost again. Silver Lake's back into the top 5 at number 5 with a big win against St. Mary's. Class 4A, I know there's not a whole lot of representation around this area, but Baser Linwood, was able to push up into the top 5. Eudora's now in the top 5. Finally, though, St. James Academy, if you lose 3, if you start out the season 0-3, you'll eventually get out of the top 5. So there's still the receiving votes are others. But, 0-3, St. James Academy's out in Class 4A. Hayes High, I thought, deserved to stay in there, 5A. I mean, I would say a competitive loss to Manhattan. I mean, look at it, was a 31-21. I mean, Corson was the insider on that ball game, being able to watch that game. But maybe a little bit deceiving. I know Manhattan kind of separated early. After that early score by Hayes, it was pretty much all Manhattan, and Hayes tacked on a late touchdown, kind of one of those meaningless touchdowns. But still, relatively competitive game against the top team in Class 6A, so Hayes should stay in at number 5. How about Hutchinson? 3-0 start to the season. They're now number 4 in the States in Class 5A. Oh, speaking of Hayes, though, they got a pretty big game at Garden City coming up this Friday. 6A, Manhattan, number 1, Derby, number 2. I think they're clear-cut favorites right now after the first 3 weeks of the season, but Derby's got a big game against now-ranked Hutchinson this Friday night. I think that's at Derby. But, yeah, so those are some good games. Hill City, big win against Thunder Ridge. They propelled themselves to now number 3 in the States in 1A Division 1. Victoria's up to number 3 in 1A Division 2. So there weren't a ton of huge jumps, but definitely some new faces there in the top 5s.
Okay, Cole Reif, who helps compile that poll with K-Preps. Okay. Had you broadcast a game from Lions before?
Oh, yeah. When I first started calling Hoisington games, it was a regular basis.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I mean, they haven't played since 2017 until this past Friday night, but like those first 3 or 4 years that I started, they played Lions consistently, yeah.
But have you ever been to Southwestern Heights?
No, I have not. But that I will not start my streak. The longest road trip of the season, I'm bailing out. So that'll be my catcher on the call, which I assume he's coming back. I haven't seen him this week yet, right?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
was a little concerned.
This is a fast-paced world over there, and Hesh has got a lot of things going on. He may just gone out there and gone up to top of Pikes Peak and just staying there.
Okay, so that's where he's at. We know a location.
Well, I think he went out to the Boulder area or whatever, or Berkeley East.
Well, is he just going to stay out there and then go down south to Kismet on
I don't know.
On Friday? Like, I don't get it. But
no one's heard from him, so
yeah. So our longest road trip this season, I'm going to have to bail. I don't know. I just don't get why people schedule fall weddings. I don't understand it. Like fall Saturday, I don't get it. Go winter if you want to do summer, spring. Okay, cool. The fall weddings.
In other words, check your schedule.
Exactly.
Okay. So what do you do in a game like that? The team you're following. Well, with Hesh, you've got to get all the stuff for him. So
yeah, I did all. I did all the Hoisington information.
Okay, all right.
He's on his own for Southwestern Heights. Who they've won their last 2 games. They're 2-1 and feeling good about themselves. Quality of schedule is not there for Southwestern Heights down in Southwest Kansas. I think they played Syracuse. And, not quality wins by any means, but they're feeling good about themselves. They put up a lot of points these last 2 weeks, and it's, the first week of district play. So, you talk about whoever your opponent is, still very important to get off on the right start and get to 1-0 in district, especially this year, depending on where you line up, and we'll see how it all falls. But as far as the difference between a district champion and the district runner-up, we obviously know Keisha put in the new rule last year, where if you had a chance to meet up with another district team by the state semifinals, you would automatically get to host that game. So there's importance there. I don't necessarily see that being an issue for Hoisington this year. Even if Hoisington made it to the state semifinals, I'm going to go ahead and say there's a very small chance that another district team from Hoisington's district is going to get to the state semifinals as well. And I'm not saying Hoisington will either, but I don't think 2 of them are going to match up out of Hoisington's district in the state semis. I'd be flabbergasted. But so it's not a huge deal there, but still, depending on who you play, there's a lot of. I think it goes through the West this year. Starting with Southeast of Saline in 2A, and then I think Kingman's really interesting to me.
I think if anyone's sleeping on anybody right now, I think it's Kingman.
Yeah, and it's weird to say because they're number 3 in the state, and everyone saw what they did. But because everyone is just automatically tabbing Southeast of Saline, and then you obviously go to the east with Rossville and Silver Lake. But Kingman's that interesting team to me, and if that happens to, hopefully Hoisington makes a run, but if it happens to get Southeast Saline, Kingman, whether it's in the quarterfinals or the semifinals, that's an interesting matchup.
One thing that's fun about we're getting to week 4 now, so because that's all we have to go on, right? Comparative scores, who plays who, you kind of get a good idea. So week 4, you start really getting that. There's a couple games I'm looking at. Pratt Cheney, right?
Mm-hmm. Not a close game. Pratt rolls.
You think?
Yeah. I think Cheney's down. They still have that tradition, and they'll bring that pride into that ball game, so that maybe that keeps it close. So I think Pratt is that team this year.
Well, Tad Remy said that, because I asked him, so what do you think about Pratt? He said, well, I don't know if they're better than they were last year, but they're sure not any worse. That's good.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and he had firsthand experience, getting that look, right off the bat in week 1. So, yeah, I think Pratt is pretty solid.
And that goes back to that Kingman game, because Kingman handled Cheney fairly. It was like a 28-14 game.
Yeah, I think Cheney from last year, game on. Let's go watch that ball game. I think Cheney this year,
well, they lost their quarterback, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
okay. So, I put Pratt by over 20 in that game.
Connor Nickel, Mr. Numbers, was on yesterday. Really
good.
Yeah.
He's real
but
good.
He was talking about, Russell and Beloit. Okay, Russell, they didn't think they'd beat Smith Center, but I was curious to see if maybe they get Beloit. So is Beloit going to go on that run or not? But he said they can't pass. Well, they didn't pass last year. But all their passing games set up on, they have like 3 passing plays, right? And they're all set up it's off their running game.
Yeah. And I think they do get Vincent Barrett back this week, what it seems like. So he was out last week. It seems like Barrett will be back. That's an all-state running back and, obviously defensively at linebacker as well for them. So, that's a huge plus. I still have questions on how good Beloit is, but they can't be bad based on the talent they have coming back from a year ago. But, yeah, that's another one of those litmus tests with Russell and Beloit and where they're at. And I thought even – Russell took a setback losing to Smith Center on the road, but at the same time, I thought Russell in the past that's a 50-0 ball game.
Absolutely, and they're laying down. So it's a different Russell.
Yeah, so hats off to the that coaching staff. I think they finally have figured out a potion or some type of recipe to get Russell bought in for football wise. They still got some work to do. But I think, it's definitely going the right direction.
Well, it's still, and you get that in programs. Kids have grown up watching Russell football get smashed and by Smith Centers. And those kids go in, it's kind of like, you've got to know that you can play with that. That's such a big thing. And they beat Plainville. Plainville's down a little bit. So you go up to Smith Center and, legendary football country.
Yeah. And, it takes a lot to overturn a culture. Of losing losing or winning, because I remember talking to Zach of Hoisington after their 2017 season. They went 7-4. Went 7-4, lost in the second round of the playoffs. The previous years, the 2016, they went to the state semifinals. They were like undefeated regular season, blah, blah, blah. Had all this great success in his first 3 years. And that 17 team went 7-4. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, by Hoisington standards at that point. And I remember him, and not necessarily he wasn't losing a whole lot of sleep about it. But he's like, I was kind of even wondering about what that would do as far as the young kids watching and seeing, the success we had and if it would have any type of ripple effect. They would follow that up the next year and go back to the state semifinals. So it wasn't a huge deal. But you talk about programs that have had long tradition of losing. It's hard to overcome, even if you have talent, to overcome that mental barrier or just the care of getting into a winning culture. And it goes both ways. It's hard to bring down a winning culture as well. I've seen teams that aren't very good, but they're in winning cultures.
They think they're good.
Yeah, and then the coaching staff builds them up. You got great coaches. They get the most of those farm kids in the smaller classifications, whatever it may be, and they're still good even though they don't have the talent that matches up on paper. So, and the one that comes locally, TMP was that same way. It was a basketball school / baseball. It was never a football school. After the early 2000s, after Gene Flax had left, they had struggles and struggles and struggles. Guys weren't going out for football, blah, blah, blah. Numbers were low. And, now you got Coach Harris in there, and obviously his son's really, really good, and that helps out. But they've starting to turn that around. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time. So, yeah,
culture is so important.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And it's really sometimes, like programs that are decimated. They've been good, and they lose, almost everybody, and there's no way they can be good, but they'll be competitive early, and then finally it starts to the green light goes on and said, man, we aren't very good.
Yeah.
And then they go south, and then they get boat raced the rest of it's just amazing to watch.
That phrase you always told me was, you think you're a pretty big fish until you run into a bigger fish in the playoffs, and then, that's happened before. Even I've seen some teams like that too. It's like, man, this team's good. We're rolling. And then you get smacked by a bigger fish.
Yeah.
So,
and then, then you say, well, okay, that fish is bigger. Yeah. Cole, great stuff. And enjoy your wedding this week. Hesh will find his way down there.
I think he's just going to take all the Southwest, because there's a couple of years ago that he went down to Cimarron for me as well. So I think he's just going to take the Southwest trips. I'm going to bypass those. I'm just going to turn into like the Denny Matthews and just do home games.
Okay.
that's
such
my
a
goal.
Grizzled veteran now. Cole, thanks a lot. Cole Reif with us here on Sports Day. Mike Corson up, Lyles Lashley next.
Some of us were born to farm. Some diesels, like Cenex Premium Diesel, were born to fuel. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn to reduce particulate matter and keep filters cleaner for longer. Fuel your equipment like a pro with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and leave typical number 2 diesel to the amateurs. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact the Great Bend Co-op Fuel Department, your certified Cenex distributor today.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
We know a thing or two about high-quality, large-volume hay, like the need to cover more acres per hour. That's why we built the new Case IH WD5 Series windrower with the fastest transport speeds in the industry at up to 30 miles per hour. We included a robust drivetrain that excels through hilly areas and took operator comfort to the next level with a suspended cab and airbag rear axle suspension. Raise the bar for productivity and efficiency with the Case IH WD5 Series windrower. Visit Can Equip in Great Bend to learn more.
The high-rise apartment renovation is nearly complete. These newly remodeled units are close to lots of downtown amenities, and you can't beat the views. Rent is based on your income with all utilities included. Apply now to get your paperwork done before move-in to get first dibs on apartments. Learn more or apply at gbhaks.com. Great Bend Housing Authority. Equal housing opportunity.
Did
Did you recently have an insurance claim and discover you didn't have the coverage you thought you had? At Panzer Insurance, we offer personal guidance on insurance for your car, home, farm, or business. We represent many different companies and can help you choose the insurance that's just right for you. For a free quote, contact a member of our team at 792-9000. At Panzer Insurance, we offer big city selection with small town service.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, today joined by Great Bend High School cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. You survive another Saints weekend, Coach?
I don't know about surviving. You turn the ball over 5 times to Tom Brady, you're not going to win too many against them.
Who do you think would throw more interceptions in a season, me or Jameis Winston?
I'm rolling with Mike Marzoff on that one. I think you got a little better arm than Marzoff does. And Winston, I think he throws to the wrong team too many times.
Somebody's got to teach him the right jersey colors.
That's right.
Let's talk about what your kids have been up to. First, they did the Glow Walk for Suicide Prevention this last weekend. How neat an opportunity to get the kids out and be part of the community like that.
Yeah, it was neat to give back to the community and for a great, great cause, especially this day and age. So many people are battling depression. To get back for that, and then just for them to be a chance to see that kind of stuff, it was pretty neat.
And you guys were at Buhler last week. You guys had the Crazy Olathe meet. Felt like this one was going to be a little bit more back to normal, and the girls win. Caden wins. How about? I was a little shocked to see Addie did not win. Ashley Prochaska from Southeast of Saline got her. She was a state placer in 3A last year, but overall pleased with what the girls did?
Yeah, I was happy with them. I think going in we had a long Saturday night, and we had a really, really tough workout on Monday. So we knew going in we were going to be a little dead going in, but I was happy to see how they competed really well as a group. Our split on the girls' team dropped from 213, I think, all the way down to 135 for our 1 through 5, and then our boys. Like I said, it's nice to have a full team and compete. And then they're just after today's workout, they're just getting better and better every day. So hopefully they can by end of the season start beating a few people.
And then Morgan Beckwith, she didn't run last year, but she was one of your top runners 2 years ago. And now she's back up in the scoring mix. How big are those 4 and 5 spots going to be? Pretty interchangeable as you continue to go on?
Yeah, they're huge. We really have 8 girls battling for 7 spots, and every day it's a different battle. Morgan, obviously, she's made a complete turn to where she was 2 years ago, which is an amazing deal. And then we haven't run Diane Alvarez but once, and she had a really good workout this morning, so we're excited about her. You throw in Kate Welcher, who's dramatically improved from the year before. And then, Sienna Smith, a freshman, who might be the most talented girl we have on our team, that's just now hitting her stride a little bit and starting to learn to figure out a few things. And so we're excited about the next few weeks.
Great Bend High School cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. Caden runs well off his best times of the year, but was that kind of expected going in that he was going to finally have maybe an easier race?
Well, that course, if you run your best time, you're on that course, then you're greatly overachieving by a long ways. It's a difficult course. It's always warm, windy, and you just like to see how they compete and get back their winning ways.
And actually quite a few state medalists from classes 2A and 3A in that race. And you guys had the big Olathe meet, Buhler, and now going to Rimrock, back to Rimrock and Lawrence. How excited to get to go back up there?
We're excited. I mean, the only person that's actually run there is Caden on our team. So because of the COVID year, and then last year staying and going to Wichita State meet since we're running state meet there. So the rest of the team will have it's a brand new experience for them. And so I'm excited for them to get to go out and experience it and get to see what it's like and go in there against, I think we're going to race 4 or 5 schools from Colorado, a couple from Texas, a couple from Oklahoma. So it's nice to see different people and different, like I said, different course for them. And probably, the most prestigious cross-country course in my mind in all the Midwest.
All right, Panther runners getting down to it early Saturday morning. Get there, beat the crowd. Coach, good luck. Good luck to the kids.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Good luck with those Saints.
Yeah, that's a lot of luck we need there.
More Sports Day after this.
Hey, you want to hear some good news? Venture Corporation is still hiring for laborers, flaggers, equipment operators, CDL A and B drivers, and mechanics. And if you're ready to make some money, call Leslie at Venture. Thought about getting your CDL? Venture will train the right candidate. Higher starting wages, on-the-job training, excellent benefits, and you get paid for traveling throughout the state. Venture Corporation on South Highway 281 in Great Bend is an equal opportunity employer. Venture Corporation, homegrown, family-owned.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVGB, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in Central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Claire Barton Medical Center is excited to announce that their new clinic location is now open at 906 McKinley in Great Bend. Claire Barton's providers are ready to care for you and can generally see you very quickly, sometimes even the same day. You can continue or establish care with either Dr. Kyle Renner, Dr. T. Scott Webb, Kelsey Berkey, Jenna Snell, or Taylor Bieberly. They'll also offer walk-in lab draws weekdays. So stop by and see them at the new Claire Barton Clinic location, 906 McKinley, Great Bend.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Come see what's new at Northview. We have something for you, like trees and shrubs and the plants that you love, perennials, annuals, and daffodil bulbs. And as the seasons changing, we're always rearranging. You never know just what you're gonna find, but you'll see a miracle every time. Just take 281 North to come see what's new at Northview.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Sports Day here on a Tuesday. I want to remind you, coming up tomorrow, as we'll talk Panther football, we have a Royals game on Thursday. So that means 12:30 for the pregame show, so no show on Thursday. So Aaron Beck will be in studio tomorrow to talk Great Bend Panther football. Also, Danny Prieto, offensive and defensive lineman, so we'll have Panther talk for you tomorrow. Mike Corson's going to be talking with Shelley Duvall of Great Bend Panther volleyball tomorrow, and a couple players that'll be in for that segment as well. And we'll talk to Gerard Welbrock, the voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. That's coming up tomorrow. Okay, Len Dawson passing away at the age of 87. passed away 3 weeks ago. They had the funeral and memorial service on Friday morning in Kansas City. 90-minute service, had people like Chiefs chairman and CEO Clark Hunt, Pro Football Hall of Fame, Chiefs legend Bobby Bell, Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, and more. Len Dawson celebrated for his 50 years of broadcasting in Kansas City, 24 years as the host of HBO's Inside the NFL, NBC's analyst and color commentator, longest tenured sportscaster in Kansas City. Kevin Harlan's tribute was fantastic. YouTube is great, and if you didn't have the opportunity to hear it, you're going to get it right now. Kevin Harlan's eulogy at Len Dawson's funeral last Friday.
Good morning. I'm so honored to be here and celebrate the life of Leonard Ray with all of you who knew him like I knew him. And what a great day for Kansas City. What a wonderful day for Kansas City. You know, they say that one of the ways you can measure the greatness of someone is, could you write the story of what they did and leave out their name? Well, if you talk about Super Bowls and you talk about NFL history, you talk about Big Ten history, you couldn't do it. Len Dawson's name would have to be included every time. If you wrote the city of Kansas City's story, you couldn't write it without mentioning Len Dawson. Think of all the kids that grew up here and their first idol, first person they ever recognized was Len, and at number 16. Followed him in the Super Bowl, sat in the Wolfpack at Municipal Stadium cheering him on. Maybe they got an autograph from him at one time. Maybe he spoke to their church or their high school. Maybe they met him at the grocery store. Who knows? He was in Kansas City all the time, and this was his adopted hometown. Or maybe you were like me and lucky enough to get a chance to work with him, as I did. I was 24 in 1985, and the Chiefs had a broadcast opening next to Len. And Lamar Hunt and Jack Stedman thought it would be a good idea if Len and I did an audition tape to see how we sounded doing football together. And so they somehow coerced Lenny on an off day on a Saturday to drag himself out to Arrowhead Stadium and do this game on tape with engineers and producers in back of us. And they wanted to hear how we sounded. So we did the first half of the Missouri Tigers spring football game, which is disjointed to begin with, but that's what we did. Mr. Hunt, Mr. Stedman listened to the tape, and they gave the thumbs up, and I got that job. But I know that without Len's stamp of approval, I wouldn't have had a chance to work with him and be that voice at that age. And that began our 9-year journey together. And he taught me how to watch pro football, how to broadcast pro football. And when you travel with someone for 9 years and work with them that closely and get to know them like we got to know each other, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Bill Grigsby, as Bill referred to us as the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And I'm not saying that, Carla, because we're in a church. I mean, Bill was a pistol, as we all know. He was a piece of work. But the three of us traveled the country, sat next to each other in the back of the plane on those charter flights. And you remember some of the wonderful moments, and there were hundreds, literally hundreds of moments like that. But we were just listening to Adrian from the Hall of Fame talk about that 1987 ceremony. And Len and his famous seventh son speech that left people breathless that were watching on a very hot Ohio Saturday afternoon. But he had a broadcast to do after the game. So he does all this. He's shaking hands. He's kissing babies. He's hugging people. He's signing autographs. He's in the parade around the stadium, around the field. And we're up in that press box, me and Billy. And Billy's taking off his shirt, and I'm drenched in sweat. Here comes Leonard Ray, man. He is not a sweat drop on him. He is as cool as a cucumber. He was terrific. And to think about his football life making the complete circle. Nearby, 20 miles away, Alliance, Ohio, and then immortalized in Canton. On those flights, Bill would sit next to the window, I'd sit in the middle, Lenny would sit in the aisle. Those quarterbacks of those teams would walk by in those long flights from those AFC West cities in Oakland and Seattle and San Diego in L.A., and they would stretch their legs and work their way back, and they would catch Len's glance, and Lenny would nod or pat him on the back or shake their hands. But a lot of times those quarterbacks would sit on the aisle armrest and want to talk with Len about the game. And I was privy to some incredible conversations, and all of them did it. Kenny and Blackledge and the great Steve DeBerg, one of the most underrated players in the history of this franchise. And even the great Montana. Joe would sit there on that armrest and visit with Lenny, and they'd talk, and the things I heard and the way they would dissect the game, Lenny knew what they were going through, and they knew that Lenny knew what they were going through, and that made a big difference to those quarterbacks. One of the weird things about Leonard, he always had a camera, but not like a nice Nikon, he had like a disposable camera that he kept with him all the time. He took picture after, like during the game, I'd be making a call, and he'd be over there, I look over, Leonard, what do you think? He's taking a picture of us doing the game. And he'd always hand the pictures. Annie, my wife, brought these pictures out the other day, and big stack of them, and kids would come up at halftime and visit, and Lenny would be up there and take pictures of me, take pictures of them sticking their fingers in the Gates barbecue or messing up his notes. Here come Merlin Olsen or Dick Enberg or Charlie Jones into our booth to say hi, Lenny, how are you? Because Lenny, worked at NBC for all those years. So they knew him, and he was just terrific and took pictures of everybody. Visitors to the booth, he would take pictures of the visitors to the booth. He was wonderful that way. And he was very, very kind. Him and Linda were so great to our family. Linda would always send, we had 4 children, and she would send a silver cup to the house with their name engraved and their birth date. And it meant a lot. When we left to go to the network, Lenny was one of the first people to call. And we knew that by leaving the Chiefs family, and it is a family, that our lives wouldn't be the same. And that's true. Because when you do the team's games, the equipment guys and the video guys and the secretaries, as well as the players and the assistant coaches. And boy, we had some great coaches and great people I dealt with. Carl, Marty, an endless number of names. When you walk through life, you're touched by so many people. Some were the kids you grew up with on your block. Some were high school friends, some were high school teammates. Some were college roommates, some were coaches, and some were teachers. And if you were lucky, if you're really lucky, some could have been a Hall of Fame broadcaster and a Hall of Fame player. To me, Len Dawson was kind and gracious, generous, thoughtful. He was everything you wanted a friend to be. And he was like my dad. I look at him and I told him that. I said, Lenny, you remind me so much of my dad. And he was a gentleman. And a gentleman always knows when it's time to go. But Len Dawson is a Hall of Famer, and is he a legend? Yes, he's one of the biggest legends this city has ever seen. And a legend lives forever. I know he does in my heart, and I know he does in yours as well. And how lucky and blessed are we.
Len Dawson they had the memorial service last Friday morning. Kevin Harlan with the eulogy. Good stuff here on Sports Day.
Suzanne here with My Favorite Furnishings in Larned. Furnishings is in our name, but we also carry a huge line of Speed Queen washers and dryers, GE appliances, including ranges, refrigerators, dishwashers, freezers, and so much more. We also have one of the largest selections of carpet and flooring around. Luxury vinyl tile or planks are in hot demand now, and we have both in stock, ready for you to pick out, take home, and install, or have one of our professional installers do it for you. Come find your new appliances, flooring, and yes, furniture at My Favorite Furnishings in Larned.
It's going to wrap up the Tuesday show. Appreciate Cole Reif coming up and spending some time. Mike Horse is just doing wonderful work, not only here on Sports Day, but GreatBendPost.com. We got it rolling here, folks. The Eagle Media Center. Tomorrow, Panther football as Aaron Beck will join us. Danny Prieto, offensive and defensive lineman for the Panthers, will be in. We'll talk some Panther volleyball tomorrow. Shelley Duvall and a couple players will be in studio tomorrow. And we'll talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrock. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow here on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, live from the Mayo Money Management Studio.